My computer made a noise as I started the reading. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Remember to leave me a like and subscribe. It's free to do. It really helps out the channel. You know, if you want to, and if not, that's totally fine as well. So I'm reading for Aquarius energy for Friday. It doesn't have to be Friday for this reading to resonate with you. You don't have to be an Aquarius. I'm reading for Aquarius energy. We're all affected by all the different energies of the zodiac at different points because we have 12 houses in our chart. The planets move around those houses. It's a thing. So if Aquarius energy particularly resonates for you at the moment, you may find this reading is your reading. If it isn't ringing any bells, if it doesn't feel like this is your story, that's okay. It's just for somebody else today. It's a collective message. It's not personal. So you may want to go and check out your other placements. There's a link in the description box down below. You can go and click that and find out your whole birth chart and go and see kind of what else is going on for you energetically. So yeah, the Aquarius thing is just a little, hey, heads up, this reading might be for you. So let's figure out, is this reading for you? I'm going to get you some Scrabble tiles. And, you know, maybe these might be your initials. They might be the initials of somebody you're thinking of. They might make you think of a certain word or a certain phrase, whatever springs to mind. So it's really important when you come into collective readings on YouTube to use your own intuition to figure out, is this my story or is this not my story? So things will either resonate and kind of think, oh, yes, this feels like a message for me. Or you'll think, this is not feeling like it applies to me at all. You can hang on a minute or two as well. I'm going to kind of pull some words. I'm going to mention a song and I'm going to start to pull cards. So when I start to pull cards, you're probably going to have a feeling by that point of if this is your reading or if it's not. So Scrabble tiles, let's see what we get. So we're playing Wordle right now with Scrabble tiles. What word are we going to get? So we have, again, I'll do this on camera so you can see that everything I get in my readings is genuinely what I get. So I just saw 2-2 on the timestamp, so watch out for repeating numbers. Number 1 may mean something to you. You've got the word N, so it can sometimes be like no. If you're thinking of a question, the answer could be no. But whatever you get from it is, right? It could also be a Z if you turn it sideways. Oh, surprise letter, mystery letter, secret admirer maybe. I don't know. Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. Use your own intuition. What are you getting? C. Anything else? E. Nice. That's nice. And B. Okay. Whatever you're getting from that, is it ringing any bells? Is it not ringing any bells? Are you thinking of a certain word, a certain phrase? Anything springing to mind? Maybe it's something going on in work. You know, maybe there's a bee flying around. I don't know. Whatever you get from it. So, is that helpful? Is that not helpful? We've also got a little very scruffy. My daughter used to keep her pens in it, so it's a little bit dirty. It's my daughter's old pencil case. But I've got this bag of words. Let's turn it that way around, right? So a couple of different words for Aquarius to help people know if this is their reading or not. What do we have? What do we have today, please? Sometimes as well, it takes a little bit of time for things to play out. So it may be like, it doesn't make sense now, but something will happen during the day. For example, I went into work the other day and I said to Spotify, what's going to happen in work today? Give me a heads up. What's going to happen in work? What's going on? And they gave me Prince, Purple Rain. And I went into work and it took a little while. Like it was a couple of hours into my shift. Someone started the shift and they walked in and they had a Prince, like Purple Rain t-shirt on. And I was like, wow, like what are the chances? So like sometimes things like that can play out where it happens a little bit later, sometimes in a really unexpected way as well. So what are we doing? I was like, my guides are just telling me about fashion today apparently. Endless summer I'm getting from that. Endless summer. Whatever you're getting from it though, right? Use your intuition. I don't know why that's coming through so strongly. Use your intuition. Perfume. Giving me the Britney Spears song. I hope she smells my perfume. I get perfume a lot. Like maybe you've got like a... Like I've got it right here next to me actually. My mum's handbag. My mum passed away at Christmas, and this was her favorite perfume. So, and she was quite hard to buy for as well. And just everybody in the family would always buy her favorite perfume, and she had so much of it that you can see it's not even opened. Like she didn't use it as much as people would buy it for her. I've actually gotten look at this. But I don't really like it. It's one of those that actually gives me a headache. But I don't know, maybe your ancestors wore a specific perfume and you smell it, right? You can smell this perfume kind of unexpectedly. It's like, is this a sign from my ancestor? Are they here? It can also talk about smell being a really good memory trigger. So maybe I'm thinking of like a cigarettes after sex song where they talk about I'm going to wear every city that I go to, I'm going to buy a new perfume. So when I smell like perfume, it reminds me of being in that city. Could be something like that. If anyone's thinking about buying me some perfume, my favourite perfume is actually discontinued. It's My Queen by Alexander McQueen, My Queen. It's discontinued, which I'm annoyed about. It smells like marzipan. I really, really like it. And I like you're all going to be buying me perfume. I don't know why I'm telling you, but I don't know. What's your favorite perfume or fragrance or scent? Tell me in the comment box down below, just in case anyone's watching, right, and wants to buy us perfume. And I really like Izzy Miyake, Ludi Izzy, that one. But it's like, it's a specific one because one doesn't really smell very nice. It's like, you know, the like eau de perfume and eau de toilette. Like, I like one and not the other. It's here. It's like somebody's planning. Are there any Aquariuses planning on buying me perfume? I don't think so. I can't think of an Aquarius who likes me that much. Yeah, like this is the one. Like Ludiacy, eau de toilette. Which I've got a weird story of this one actually. It was when my dad had an affair. And he the very, very lovely lady who actually played such a role model figure in my life. You know, sometimes your parents break up and like they have terrible taste in the humans that they bring into your life, but she was fabulous. She was such a lovely lady. And this was the perfume she wore, so it's funny that it's become my favorite perfume actually. You know, not taking anything away from my mum, you know, maybe this is something for somebody, maybe somebody's divorced or separated, because I kind of had this in the reading that I've just done, which was the Sagittarius Capi Cusp reading, where it was talking about, you know, being a single parent, co-parenting or single parenting, and having that kind of tag team approach to parenting. So it could be that somebody has experienced a breakup, or they are single parenting and they're thinking, should I bring somebody else should I start dating again? Should I bring someone else into my children's life? Obviously, sometimes you never know how it's going to play out until it actually happens. You know, and you know, whether the children are going to take to the person or not. And I think a lot of the time it doesn't work, especially if like that person's trying to replace a parent. But this was always like my dad's friend, and we went swimming together every Sunday, and you know I did develop a really nice relationship with her, so it can work. Space, I don't know. I think I really just finally looked at that word, space. Whatever you get is part of the reading, right? If I'm waffling on about something random, like what perfume I like, or you know, why I like that perfume and who it reminds me of, you know, it could definitely apply to somebody. You know, this could be somebody's situation or the things that they're going through. So again, we're figuring out, is this your reading or if this is not your reading? And if you sat there going, what is she talking about? This has nothing to do with me. Probably not your reading. If you're thinking, oh, well, yeah, you know, dad's just got a new girlfriend, or, you know, I am thinking about buying somebody perfume. You know, it's like, you know, it might be your reading. It might be. The song that randomized for you was Lana Del Rey's National Anthem. So maybe you've been recently singing the National Anthem, performing the National Anthem. There could be something going on. Again, just thinking about my own daughter. She's doing a project in school, which is so funny because she goes to the same school that I went to when I was a teenager, and she's got actually the same English teacher that I had, who had just started. She just trained when she was my English teacher, and now it's like, what, 20 something, I don't even know how many years later. She's now 25 years later, geez. She's now my daughter's English teacher, probably the same classroom, and she's teaching the same lesson that I did all those years ago. And it was, you have to write an argument about whether or not, like, you agree with the school wearing school uniform. Like, do you agree with the school's school uniform policy, which in our school is that you wear a school uniform, and you have to argue for and against. So it's a debate exercise that they do, and I was thinking about uniforms and, you know, how the military wears uniforms and, you know, some people that you may be able to think of historically who really liked, you know, their supporters to wear uniforms, and perhaps they were not the best people to follow or build up a group identity of. You can probably think of who I'm thinking of. You know, a very famous disliked character in history. You know, uniforms, you know, and nationalism as well, you know, the identity, like what uniform do we wear? And this could be like a work uniform, it could be even like a uniform of our belief system, our, you know, the uniform of being a human in a certain society. So it doesn't have to talk about literally a uniform, it could just be identity, national identity, brand identity, the identity of a family, you know, what face do we put on? So it could be talking about that, and like, should we when perhaps we disagree politically with what our government, the choices and the decisions that our government is making on our behalf, should we be forced to sing the national anthem in schools, for example? Should I be able to opt out without feeling like I am being socially isolated because maybe it's not appropriate? Maybe I'm in a school in a certain state in America that has just, you know, brought in a very, very controversial law, and maybe I disagree with that law, and maybe I don't particularly feel like I'm accepted by you know, my government, my society right now, and maybe I don't want to sing the national anthem and be nationalistic and you know, show my support for a policy that, quite frankly, I perhaps disagree with. Philosophically speaking, whatever your political or, you know, religious or whatever leanings are, you know, everybody's welcome here. We have differences of opinion. This is what makes us interesting humans. It's okay, right? It's okay. But I'm just giving you an example of maybe, you know, sometimes the uniform doesn't fit. Sometimes we have to question our leaders, our authority, without having blind faith and being indoctrinated by having to sing a national anthem. You know, I have a lot of problems with nationalism, historically speaking, as somebody who studied humanities and history and classics and literature, and the words we tell, the culture we create, and how indoctrinated people are into that, and how, you know, a society can be controlled and can be brainwashed through nationalism. Again, going back to the original character I was talking about in history, and how, you know, atrocities can happen in the name of the country, in the name of the government, in our name, even though potentially, should we stand up and say, I'm not singing the national anthem until you change that horrible policy? I don't know. Where do we stand with that? What do you think, Aquarius, as a very political sign, as a very politically minded sign who really cares about your community, who really cares about the greater good, who really cares about, you're a very of the people energy. You're a very transformative, like politically transformative, out of the box, independent energy. So how does that glove fit for you? Interesting, coming from Capricorn, which is very much the box, the authority, the rules. How does the rule book fit you? Do you agree with the rule book? Do you agree with the institutions that you're a part of and their policies, or are they making policies that you are not comfortable with? And do you really want to sing the song that they're singing, or do you want to sing your own song, Aquarius? I don't know. So National Anthem by Lana Del Rey, another brilliant thing that I got from that, especially coming from that Sagittarius to Capricorn cusp reading that I did. There was this thing about growing up. So the thing that I love about that song is that she starts off very naive, and it's there's a juxtaposition, there's a change in her maturity level as she moves from verse to verse. So the first verse, she's very naive. She's like, teach me to be cool, show me how to be cool, I'm not cool. And then in the second verse, she's more empowered, she's more of a woman, and she says, don't you know who you're dealing with? You know, I'm already the coolest, don't you know who you're dealing with? So it's like that feeling of being being vulnerable and childlike, and in that kind of page energy of being naive and learning, and then actually becoming part of something. And oh, they're giving me something which is going to be really interesting to talk about. And then becoming part of something and becoming indoctrinated with something and becoming empowered in that system. Because of course that song is actually talking about consumerism and a capitalist society. Go and read the lyrics. It's a great song. I love it. I'll be your national anthem. I'll stand there, wrap you in my body like a python. It's like redefining what you're honoring. Okay, really interesting reading. Love it so far. There's I like having these political. I'm a Libra. I'm a fellow air sign. You're an air sign. In case you thought you were a water sign, you're not a water sign. You're an air sign. You're the water bearer air sign, which means you're very analytical, very logical. You like discourse. You like discussion. You like communication. You like arguing, you know, but not arguing in a toxic way, arguing in a way that's more like a discussion or a debate. And I love that. I love that as a fellow air sign. I'm like, yes, let's talk this through. Let's be philosophical. Let's solve the world over this drink in this bar. We're gonna solve all the problems in the world just through talking. Very much air sign energy. So I really like your readings sometimes when it's like this. Yeah, where was I going? Where was I going with that? I don't know where I was going with that. There was you just come across as very intelligent and very informed and very kind of like, you probably do keep up with like the news and I don't know, education policies and all this kind of thing, politics, you know, you're probably quite in the know intellectually, so you are interesting. Normally, again, a full birth chart, some of you are going to have awful I'm sorry, some of you are going to have really kind of like closed off or you know, conflicting Mercury placements, which is how you have discussion. Some of you are going to be like Scorpio Mercury and it's like, yeah, you're not getting anything from me, it's like blood from a stone. But some of you may have something like Gemini Mercury placements where it's like you do not stop talking. Can relate. I'm Libra, by the way, Libra Mercury, so again, debate, very much into debate. Maybe go and look at your Mercury placement. That could be coming through for some of you. How do you communicate with other people? What kind of friendship groups do you have around you? How do you socialize? There definitely seems to be something about socialization, fitting in with groups, or not, or standing out against a group backdrop coming through for you already. And if I can get my words out, if I can get to the point, if somebody has a Gemini Mercury placement, oh my God, that is what's causing me to just waffle. Like, whoever you are, Gemini Mercury placement, could you not? I'm bad enough as already without having to just completely have verbal diarrhea in this reading. It's going to be such a long reading. I love you. I've got a Gemini moon. I get it. I totally get it. We'll meet up for a pint later. I mean, you can talk as much as you want. We'll be completely engaged, right? We're on it later. The point I'm trying to make is there was a teacher, and I can't remember where he was. I feel like he was in America. He was quite a new, innovative teacher, and he was teaching about the period of history that I was alluding to earlier, where perhaps people want to wear a certain uniform and perhaps they are very much the bad guys of history, right? I will try and find it and I'll try and link it below. And he did this experiment where he kind of he got the children in the class to start acting like they were acting a certain way, and very quickly it became almost like a cult movement, and it spread throughout the whole school. And like, it was like there was you know, everybody was like spying on each other. Everybody was kind of like reporting back when people were saying certain things. And I think there was like one girl in this entire school, this one girl who was like, oh my goodness, what is happening here? Like, this is awful. And she started single-handedly putting up posters saying like, stand up against this, do not join this group, this is like terrible, you know, like this is like some kind of cult movement. And she was very much outcast. But at the end of this experiment, and I mean the parents got on board, like it went to like the school governors, it was like everybody was like, what is this teacher doing? And the teacher was like, it's kind of getting out of control, if I'm honest. But at the end of this whole project that he kind of started, the only person who got like the best grade was this girl who stood up against them and put up these posters, bless her. So I will try and find that article or that that very experimental teaching strategy that this teacher employed, that had such a huge, terrifying effect on the whole. Like, even outside of the school, it was even like parents were getting on board and things like this. It was terrifying. So you need the people who stand up against it. You need the people who are prepared to be the outcast, the rebel, the voice against the group mentality that may not be healthy. Yeah, who stands out? Who stands out? The Sun and the Thinking Woman. There you are, Aquarius. The Thinking Woman always gives me Aquarius energy. Yeah, the Thinking Woman, the woman who's reading between the lines, the woman who has the woman who's comparing and contrasting, the woman who's looking at a certain social situation, a certain political situation, and saying, the things that I'm seeing happening here have parallels to things that are actually really, really toxic and terrifying. You know, I've seen this happening before. And this is the terrible thing. This is why I believe that we do not. It's important to remember. It's important to not just remember what happened, but how it happened, right? Historically speaking. And sometimes people are like, why are we teaching this to children? You know, do we want them to think about these things? We want them to be able to spot the signs of things happening again, right? So the Sun as well is like, it's like a battery pack. It's a big power up. It's a very, excuse me. It's a very, very positive energy. It's shining. Do you see how my throat chakra's playing up? There's definitely something coming through with seeing something happening, knowing something, having that information, being very intellectual, being very intelligent, being very informed, trying to shine a light on something, trying to show people, shine a spotlight on something and say, this is happening. You need to be aware of this, and you need to be aware not only of what's happening, but what happened in the past, and how this thing that you're all cheering on could be taken and used as a very negative thing. There are parallels. There are parallels with what is happening here that you will think is brilliant, and something really, really toxic and obnoxious. Happened for me a few weeks ago where there was the popular opinion, right? There was the popular opinion, and because it was the popular opinion and popular people were vocalizing a certain opinion, in a very, very well-meaning way, but the whole situation itself became very much, this is the right opinion, and if you have a different opinion, then you're the bad guy. And there was no room for nuance. And I think as soon as you shut that door, as soon as you start to tell people this is the right opinion and this is what you should be doing, then it becomes something that's quite tyrannical. So it's important to step up and step out and call people out and say, that's, you know, that attitude, that behavior is exactly like the thing that you're portraying the same behaviors as the thing that you're actually standing up against and calling out. So it's really important to watch out for how the shoe fits, right? There's a left shoe, there's a right shoe, and like they're the same shoe. I don't get what that is, but it's that's the way it's coming through. The numbers 1 and 47 may be important to you. So who are you dealing with? They're eager, aren't they? Somebody who's on a journey. Did Scorpio have this? Somebody who's on a very different journey, or who's on their own journey. They're trying to figure things out. They are seeing, oh, look at this. A Capricorn had indecision as well as the person they were dealing with. Somebody who's seen signs, who's seen signposts, who has different pathways available to them, but they do not know which pathway to take. They are perhaps very overwhelmed by the amount of information that they're being given. They're perhaps feeling very torn in different directions. They do not know which. It's almost like analysis paralysis. They were giving me something else. It was like something stagnation. But like thought stagnation, being overwhelmed and stagnant and not moving. This came out in the Sagittarius Capricorn reading, the cusp reading that I've put. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. It's very much about parenting and things like this. But there's something in that reading I remember about doom scrolling, and absorbing so much information, especially as an air sign, especially if you've got Libra or Gemini in your chart, having so much information that you get very conflicted, and you cannot, I'm hearing, cannot see the wood for the trees. It's like you don't know what is the right path, what is the right move to take. So you become like petrified, like you become like a statue. You don't move. It's like, I don't want to move because I may put a foot wrong. What if I take the wrong path? What if I in a very well-meaning way choose a side or have an opinion, or give somebody an answer when I don't know what, if I choose that path, I don't know what's down the line there. What is the right thing to do? Who should I donate money to? Who should I support? Am I supporting the right people? So there's this real, it came through very strongly for Libra. It regularly comes through strongly for Libra. This feeling of like, I will not move. I will stand my ground. And it can come through sometimes as indecision. But if we're dealing with Libra energy, Libra is more, I will not be forced into making a decision unless I have all the information. Aquarius as well. I retweeted something about this, about air signs. I will not be forced into making a decision without having the full information. So the way that they're showing it me is like, perhaps you were starting a new job, and perhaps, your boss wants you to shake hands on something, but you haven't read the contract, or like the boss is giving you a contract to sign but not giving you time to read it, and you're like, I'm the sort of person, a green person, that's interesting, I'll come back to that as well. I'm the sort of person who wants to take that agreement, take that contract away and read every single line of it and really understand it as well. Maybe I'm going to read it twice. Maybe I'm going to pass it on to my own lawyer or solicitor to have a look over, because I don't want to sign something if I don't know what I'm signing, what I'm agreeing to. So it could be something like that. It doesn't have to be literally signing something, but it's like feeling rushed or forced into making a decision when you don't have all the information. Yeah. The thing that I was looking at was like astrology vibes on Twitter, and it was air signs, just give them all the information. Just give them all the information. Let them process it. Let them go through it. Let them order it in their own mind. Because it's like, because Libra had this as well. I don't know, maybe you're dealing with a Libra. But Libra had this thing where there was this big black hole, which actually played out in a really funny way for me personally. It's funny how things play out in real life. But there's this big black hole, and I'm getting Griff. There's a big black hole where my heart used to be, and I'm trying to fill it up with things I don't need. Could be dealing with Capricorn. You could be Cappy, Aquarius, cusp. Again, that consumerism. Feeling Cappy is very, they're the cave heart for me. Like big fluffy teddy bears with this big cave heart. Like they Capricorns are like, did you just call me fluffy? They are, if they're hurt, they can sometimes shut down and focus on career, focus on money instead of actually dealing with that thing that hurt them. So that's why I'm sort of talking about Cappy now. Again, we have like lots of different energies that we're all dealing with different people and different energies. So however it comes through. But Libra had this thing about seeing this blind spot, or seeing this black hole, or seeing like Scorpio as well. It's like the thing that's not being said, and it's like, then it's like, that's the only thing you can focus on. The only thing you can focus on is the dark spot, is the black spot, is the information vacuum. So it's very much like ask the right questions. Who's asking the right questions? Air signs, probably. So you're given a piece of information in the news. I've experienced this. If you've experienced this, it's like such a worrying sign where, you want to find out, like you're given, like there's a headline in an article and you're given a certain amount of information in that article about what's going on globally. And then you think, well, why? Why is that way? Like, you're giving me a statement here, but where's the evidence for this statement? Like, why are you making, like, what is behind that? Like, I want more information, but then you can't find the information. And if you Google it, somebody I know like Googled something and it was like Google crashed. It was like that you cannot have the answer to that question. And I was like, oh my goodness, be careful. You're going to be on some kind of government watch list, like with the stuff that you're Googling. And it was completely innocent. It was completely from a place of, well, why? Like, you're telling me something as a fact, but you're not telling me why, like how you've come to that conclusion. It's like, I need more information on that, which is this energy, which is you, right? So I want to say this is somebody who's like you. Again, it could be like an Aquarius and a Libra. It's like, let's dig a little deeper here. Let's ask why. Let's ask the right questions. Like, we need to, it feels like you're coming in with the answers. You're coming in with more information. It's like, I have the information that you need to make that decision, because I can see that you're very conflicted and very stuck and very stubbornly sitting on that fence, which is Libra. Is I will not be forced to make a decision unless you give me all the information, which is the empowered side of Libra. People see them as a pushover and see them as wishy-washy, and it's like, no, they're not actually. They're just they're just not going to jump through a hoop when you say, you know, they're not going to say how high when you tell them to jump, right? They're going to say how, well, they are. They're going to say, you say jump, they're not going to jump. They're going to say how high, where do you want me to jump to? Why do you want me to jump? Which direction do you want me to go in? Which way is the wind blowing? Is it the best day to be jumping? Have I got the right hair to be jumping? It's like, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot more that Libra needs to know about why you're asking them to jump in the first place. What do I want to go to for you? This feels like an Aquarius deck. I've not got my cards set out. Just cleared away the cards from the last reading, and now I'm kind of winging it a little bit. But sometimes you need to wing it, and look at that, the fates with the wings as I say that. Tell me about Aquarius's energy, please. Aquarius, please, for Friday. Aquarius for Friday. They've got the Sun and the Thinking Woman. Give me more information. Oh, gosh, it's falling on the floor. Mending. Could be mending a relationship, mending a situation, mending something. Mending something. Looking at the sky, kind of giving me Foo Fighters. Looking to the sky to save me. Looking for a guiding light. Libra had that. Libra had this thing about the soul scream, like collectively, like the energy collectively on Earth, like through humanity, seeing things and being so tired and being so frustrated and almost saying like, where is God? Why are these things happening? Where are the angels? Where are our saviors? You know, whatever you believe in. And this kind of collective soul scream of just our souls screaming out for a savior energy, you know, somebody to come and intervene. And it was actually coming through as an Aquarius. It's kind of like this King of Swords energy that was responding, kind of like the Starman energy. Kind of, I think Cappy got that at the end of their reading as well. It's kind of like, Anna picked on you. What is it? Like, let the children boogie, David Bowie. And it was like, it's like that Aquarian Starman energy that Libra's been getting in their reading as well. This kind of like galactic starseed commander energy. It's been coming through as very Aquarian, which could be talking about us moving into Aquarian energy, like collectively, as the planets shift into Aquarius. We're having that kind of age of Aquarius, revolution, political, giving me. I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. From 77 and 69, revolution was in the air. I was born too late into a world that doesn't care. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. That's Sandy Tom, very Aquarius. It's still going, right, still going. So it could be collectively this Aquarian energy coming in to save the day after a very authoritative, patriarchal, Saturn-ruled Capricorn season, you know, several years of Capricorn energy kind of collectively, and moving into that Aquarian energy. So it could be talking about that, like the age of Aquarius is here. The soul scream is being answered. I'm sorry to all the Cappies out there. You are lovely. It's not your fault that you've got, it's not your fault you're the tough love energy of the zodiac. So Jenny, just breathe, just breathe. It's like, I'm a Libra. This Libra energy has been coming through TikTok, like the time, there's a time factor here. So again, somebody could feel very, very rushed into making a decision. Like, you need to make this decision now. TikTok, time's up, make the decision. And it's like, again, it's like this person feels pressured to, it's like pressured to sign on the dotted line without having all the information. And that's not okay, right? As a Libra myself, that is not an energy that I'm comfortable with. It's like, I don't want to agree to sign myself into it. Could be like almost like recruiting, right? Maybe recruiting for an army, that kind of energy of like, you know, sign up now, and being like, well, what exactly am I signing up for? And then this feels like almost like very stubbornly refusing to be rushed, refusing to be they're showing me a sheepdog barking at sheep, right? Like corralling sheep. Refusing to be corralled into a certain direction, a group mentality, a mob mentality, and actually sitting down on the grass and being like, I'm good where I am actually. Whatever this very stressful energy is, and I've had this myself, again, this feels very Libra, it doesn't have to be, sitting down and saying, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to go within, I'm going to take some deep breaths here, I'm going to actually I'm going to connect to my guides, right? I'm going to spiritually go within, connect to my higher self, my inner knowing, my spirit guides, my guardians, my higher self. I'm going to connect to my higher self to lead me through this situation. And if right now they're saying it's not the right time, chop wood as well. It's not the right time. It's not the right time to move. It's not the right time to make a decision. There's too much chaos and conflict around. You need to hold steady. You need to sit still. You just need to breathe through this, right? You just need to breathe through this period of chaos and conflict and change. Do what needs to be done, right? Chop wood, paint your nails, make the bed, put washing through, eat healthily, nourish yourself. There's a time factor here. It's not the right time. Yeah. It's funny, TikTok, almost like this is a pocket watch, but with it being next to indecision, what they're showing me is like a pendulum. TikTok. It's going back to I had a phase of readings where I was getting the Guinness advert, like good things come to those who wait. It was a really good advert, right? Whoever did the PR for that advert, such a cool, like dramatic, moody advert. So it's for the brand Guinness, which is like an Irish beer, not a beer. What is it? Like a malt. I don't know. I grew up in a pub. I should know what Guinness is. I do. I just can't pull in that information when I'm channeling. It's like switching my brain to a different mode, like rather than my open source spirit brain. It's like going back to my own actual brain. So the Guinness advert, it's like it was these surfers and they're sat on the beach waiting for the perfect wave, and then the wave comes in as all these horses, which is interesting because that kind of came out in that Sagittarian Capricorn cusp reading. And it's like tick tock, good things come to those who wait. So it's like still waiting. It's like Libra as well. I swear this is Libra energy. Libra has been in this holding pattern energy for about 2 years. Libra's been like, I'm ready. I'm waiting for that car to come and pick me up. You know, I'm waiting for the right wave to come in so that I can jump on board that ship. Again, interesting, the kind of the parallel with the horse rushing into that cusp reading and kind of swooping someone up and like going off and having a fun adventure. It's like Libra's like, when is the door going to open for me so I can have this fun adventure? When is it going to be the right time? Like, it's a very patient, like playing the long game energy. Interesting. I saw this like chessboard being knocked over the other day, and sort of intuitively. I don't feel like I want to go animal spirit for you. I feel like I want to go Muse and Light Seers. Which one first? Feeling the Muse Tarot first. Let's go Muse Tarot. Very, really nice, actually, quite Aquarian energy coming through these two decks today. That lovely high vibrational collective energy. This is interesting. I shuffled this deck. This was fully shuffled, and then I shuffle and I split the deck. When I tidy cards away from a reading, I put them in separately. So I put them, intersperse them through the deck. That's well the Emperor there. I don't know. And this was the underlying for the Saturn Cappy cusp reading. This kind of like watcher energy, the ancestors, or the gatekeeper, like this portal that you have to pass through. It's like the same energy on that reading. There's the lovers as well there. Right, okay. Aquarius. There you are. That's your card, Aquarius. The Hanged Muse. 10 of Emotions. The Moon. That feels quite Libran again. 2 of Cups, 2 of Voices. So there is a person for you, Aquarius, because I'm reading, this is your energy over here. This is somebody else. You can flip and reverse it if needs be. But I feel like this person for you is very much like a yin to your yang, right? They very much are like a friend, a companion, different from you, right? Different from you, but also like whichever way you look at it, there's this yin yang energy going on. So this is somebody who very much matches you. Again, air sign energy, you can, especially if you've got air sign Mercury placements, you're going to get along very well. You're going to have those kind of very not heated, very intense kind of political social discussions, you know, that is attached to air sign energy. You're really going to want to look at things from all different angles. And there's something amazing going on here where you do have this ability, Aquarius. This is your card because this is about a friendship, a companion, a soulmate. You do have this brilliant ability, Aquarius, to go against the grain, to look at things from different angles, very similar to this energy. You know, I was saying it's like this energy is like quite stubbornly saying, I am not going to move until I have all the information. I'm just going to sit here on my lily pad. I'm not going to jump. Again, it's like sat on the lily pad, somebody's told them to jump and they're like, oh, I'm quite good here actually. Maybe I'll jump when I'm good and ready. Maybe you need to give me some more information about where exactly you expect me to jump. Like I'm not a performing monkey here. Where here it's like this trapeze active, turning everything upside down, turning everything on its head, looking at things from a lot of different angles. So I want to say it's almost like you're this energy, right? You're the upside down energy, and then this energy is here to like. It's like they're looking right in your eyes, right? They see, you know, perhaps coming at something from an extremely different perspective from you, like completely the opposite of opinion, and yet you see each other on a very, very equal level. Like, because this is out of the box thinking, like turning a situation on its head, and yet it's the 2 of Cups. It's perfectly balanced, perfectly equal. So it could be, again, like you and a friend in class, doing a debate, but debating from completely opposite sides of the fence, perhaps. But then it is creating a blockage energy with the moon here as well. I mean, this is very, very happy. This is like perfectly happy to... The 10 of Emotions is happiness shared with other people. And it's definitely like the 10 of Emotions and the 2 of Cups. This is very much like a really good friend, a social group that's right for you. There's really good energy here. There's really good vibes. It feels good. It's friendly. It's good. It's happy. It's shared, happy, good, love, cups, energy. And yeah, it kind of runs into this moon and 2 of Voices energy, which I want to say is the same thing. It's the same thing as, because the 2 of Voices is a blockage. It's the cross swords energy. It's, no, you can't talk to this friend anymore. This person's blocked on social media. This connection's blocked, right? Because sometimes somebody gets too stuck in the head. And I want to say again, it's this person, indecision, right? You know, somebody getting really, really stuck in their own head, getting really conflicted with thoughts. The only way to get through this blockage, this mental blockage, is to trust their gut, right? Is to trust their intuition, which the moon card can symbolize intuition and the unknown, right? Secrets, the unknown, the darkness. Going back to Libra's reading again, because I do see parallels in a lot of the readings. So, you know, obviously we don't no man is an island. All the signs are constantly interacting with other people who are, you know, the other signs. These interactions are all happening both within the planets in our solar system, through our own birth charts, through those 12 houses. So this constant interplay between all the different signs. And that's why I don't like to say, you know, this is for Aquarius, you know, it's a personal reading for Aquarius energy. It's not. It's what's going on collectively with Aquarius energy and how that is interplaying with all the other signs. So it's important to know your birth chart. I just saw 4444 on the timestamp. 4 is about foundations, stability, roots. So the roots of you as a person, being all 12 houses, you know, having all the different planets in a specific configuration in your birth chart. You're not just your sun sign. So Libra had this thing about, it came through actually originally in Libra's reading, who they were going to go into this dark hole energy, which she was talking about either going through like a rough patch or going through a period of feeling very scared or feeling very like walking into the unknown, like walking into the dark night blindfolded, because this is actually a blindfolded energy, the 2 of voices. So not having the information and going into it's like noticing the thing that's not being said, noticing the silence in the room and going straight into it, which again, Scorpio had this thing about calling somebody out, about like Scorpio being that kind of brazen energy was more like, why aren't you talking? What are you not saying here? What is going on with you? Why are you acting so weird? So Scorpio had this more like calling it out energy. But the way it came through in both of those signs, as kind of the vision that I was given, was when I was a teenager, me and my best friend used to walk through this abandoned train tunnel, and it was like a long dark tunnel with a curve in the end. So you did walk into the void, you did walk into the darkness, and it was scary, right? It was scary going into that, going into the unknown, going into something where you can't actually see where you're going, wondering if there's like snakes and like scary things. Again, Libra's reading, they had this card that was like the blackness and little snakes around, but seeing that kind of like the portal of light that you kind of like have to get through at the end. But the thing with this tunnel was, because of the curve, you couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You were going into it completely blind, right? And there was a period where you got near the center where you lost the light behind you and you couldn't yet see the light around the curve. So it was only probably like 5 or 10 steps where you just have to put one foot in front of the other. You just, in complete pitch black, like one foot in front of the other, keep walking forward, keep moving forward, and then all of a sudden you saw the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like you almost wanted to run for it. You almost wanted to like sprint away out of that scary darkness, back into the light. So it's this real test of faith, to go into the unknown, going into something where you don't have all the answers, going into something that is scary, you know, but doing it with my best friend. Like my best friend was there holding my hand. We had that faith in each other. We had that strength in that bond between us, very much like this 2 of cups, to kind of like do that scary thing together. So there feels like there's something like this going on collectively, where it's like 2 people entering that tunnel. Libra had this lovely thing. Libra felt like they were on their own, though. Libra really did feel like they were on their own. So maybe they were waiting for their Aquarius friend to come and hold their hand and walk through that tunnel with them. Scorpio felt like more like a spirit guide, calling them on, kind of saying like, we're spiritually giving you the strength to do this. And at the end of that, it was like, Libra was the first to pass through this scary tunnel, scary black period of unknown. But it's like there were other people following behind, and Libra could turn around as this nightingale energy and call back and say, keep walking, keep putting one step in front of the other. You're going to get through this. You're going to come round that bend. So it could talk about dark periods of your life, depression, fear, moments of having to do something without having all the information. So really interesting that should come through again there. And they even had this card in their reading. It was like all those people are there. It's like you think you're alone. It's like you kind of like a surprise party, right? Like you're in the darkness, you're in the pitch black, you think you're all alone, and then the lights turn on and everybody's around you, like all your friends are there, but you just can't see them. There's something like peripherally or to do with your perception where you just can't see all this support you have around you. So it's funny that it should come through there as well. Yeah, the community, the friendships, right? Your soul family, your soul tribe, like all right there with you. So tell me about this energy, this person who's indecisive, this person who's on, it's like they're in the middle point, right? They're in that midway point of, you know, the light's faded behind them and they can't quite yet see the light of the future. And they're in that kind of void energy of do I go back or do I go forward, but kind of frozen in fear, and having to do, like, if you've got anxiety, like having to do the deep breaths, having to do the meditation, having to find that, it feels like this person's very alone, and like having to find that inner resource to keep, you know, to hold their ground perhaps, or to wait for a sign, to wait for the friend to show up so they know which way to move. Tell me about this energy, please. So Aquarius for Friday, tell me about this energy. Yeah, look at that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's been horrible. Like I say, I pick up on this collective energy, and as a Libra, like this energy has completely been sideswiping me. It's been horrific. And there's no real reason for me to feel this way. It feels like depression. It feels like stress, anxiety, even like mental health issues like paranoia. It's been coming through horribly, but it's not my energy. And as soon as I meditate, it falls away. It's like it's like this energy keeps creeping back up on me, keeping on covering me, and then I have to keep on like meditating and breathing through it and remembering that this is not my energy. I can shake it off. It's the collective energy. It's, as an empath, this is what I'm picking up on collectively. So it's like this person around you is frozen. It's like the deer in the headlights, like, but there's no headlights, right? It's like, have you ever had this as well, where you're working somewhere, or you're in a situation and the lights go out and you freeze? It's like you don't want to, because I work in a kitchen. There's no actual window in that room. So when the power goes out, sometimes if we're really busy, I've got like all the toasters on, the microwaves, the grills, the oven, the lights, like the music. It's like sometimes the system cuts out and it goes into complete blackness. And there's a moment, because there's sharp knives, you know, there's hot fat, there's like so many dangers working in a kitchen, and the light goes off and you freeze. And you have to say, I'm here. You know, I can't see you. I'm here, like calling to each other, Marco Polo in the darkness, you know, and we go, power, and somebody who's like outside the kitchen goes and turns the power back on. So it's that moment of like not being able to see clearly. And it doesn't have to be literally with like light, right? It doesn't have to be literally that environment. It can be emotionally, it can be just something that you're going through where it feels like you're in a really, you know, dark night of the soul energy. If you want to Google dark night of the soul, like it's like everything's gone black for you. You cannot see clearly. You do not know. You feel frozen in fear. You don't know which choice to make. You don't know which direction to move in. And I had this wonderful thing that came through, I think in a Capricorn reading a long time ago, because Capricorn has this kind of, always has this cave energy of like, it's kind of like the, you know, Capricorns have had such a rough time of it. Again, you can go and look at other readers who'll tell you the exact same thing with like Pluto and Saturn and all this stuff going through the charts. Like Capricorns have had a, you know, real dark night of the soul energy. And so I had this kind of visual metaphor for Cappies of like a dream or something. I can't remember how it came through properly, where it was like being in the cave. And I've experienced this where as a child on like school trips and things, going down into cave, like real literal caves, and they do this thing where they turn the light off and it's completely pitch black. It's like blacker than black, right? Like you've never known darkness like that before. And I had this thing about being down there with somebody, being down in that dark cave, and like the parody of like holding my friend's hand and walking through that darkness together. It's like finding, you know, finding the hand of that person who stood next to you in that darkness, putting your hand out and feeling the wall and being like, all we have to do, like, this is how we came in. All we have to do is put our hand on that wall. Like, put your hand on my shoulder, put your hand on the wall. We're going to go step by step. We're going to follow, like, follow the wall until we go back up into the light, was how it came through. So again, this similar this similar metaphor that's coming through of finding a companion in the darkness and getting out. But here it feels like very alone, very, very alone. Very alone and like blindfolded and abandoned and in fear, in that moment of fear, in that moment of analysis paralysis, where it's like, I'm scared to move, I'm scared to do anything wrong here. And I think the advice that's been coming through a very similar, again, childhood memory that I saw another reader do, which was Awakening to Spirit. She had this reading about the compass and, you know, your intuition being faulty. So you have to trust the compass. So please do go and watch Awakening to Spirit's compass reading. Very much a similar metaphor of not knowing where you're going and having to trust this compass. Funny that it should come up collectively like this. And even Bommy Spirit, B-O-M-I Spirit, I was watching her reading this morning, and she was talking about the collective scream, the soul scream that I'd had for Libra. So very, very, very similar messages coming through across intuitive readers there, collectively speaking. There's that Ten of Cups again on the bottom, the Light Seers Tarot. So there is Ten of Pentacles as well. There is why does it sound echoey? Does it sound echoey to you as well? That's so weird. That's so weird. There is a group. There are other people, right? There are supportive friends, a supportive community. There are other people there who are going to bring the light back in, right? They're going to bring the light back into the situation. So help me please understand Aquarius's energy and give Aquarius some guidance here. So if you're resonating with this energy, right? Oh, look at that. Yeah, do it, whatever you're doing. And it doesn't have to be romantic. This is a very romantic card. It's the Knight of Cups. It's Piscean energy. It's the most romantic character in the whole of the tarot, really. Like big, showy displays of love and affection, you know, the knight in shining armor, the hero that you need on the right white horse. Interesting, again, Sagittarius and Capricorn had this white horse energy, so it's like the hero coming in on the white horse to save the day with a showy display of love. It's the guy at the end of the rom-com with the boombox above his head playing outside the window, right? It's very, very romantic, but it doesn't have to be love. It can also be you know, your best friend showing up when you need them. You're my best friend. She's a real bad bitch. Got her own money. So yeah, like real kind of like, look at his little like the little wings on his trainers as well. This is like the hero. It's like very Pisces energy, like the hero showing up when you need them the most. So for me, talking about Pisces energy, a great example of this for it playing out in my life, I'd kind of taken my daughter and my son and some of their friends on this trip into the city, and we were getting the train back, but the trains kind of leave the platform quite often, like every 5 or 10 minutes, and we'd actually got on the wrong train and it went in the wrong direction. And so I was like, oh no, I've got my kids and like this gaggle of children in tow, and I'm on this train and I don't know where it's going. I can't see anything on the train to show me what's going to be the next stop. But luckily we got off near my stepdad's house. Again, this thing about step parents coming through, which could be very significant for you, and he's a Pisces, and I call him my polar bear, and my if you know, again, talking about the compass, his mortal instruments, there's a polar bear in that, and he's kind of like this hero that you need when you need him. And so, like, I rang my mum and my stepdad, and I said, I've got on the wrong train. I'm near your house. I've got all these children with me. Can you come and pick me up? And he was like, what, 5 minutes? He was like, coat on, in the car, driving up the road with his little England flag flying on his car, and he came and he saved the day, and I got these children into the safety of this car and we took them all home. So it's like that. It's like seeing Aquarius, you're this energy of like seeing someone in distress, seeing somebody who's going through a difficult period in their life and they don't know what to do, and coming in with your flag flying. I'll be your national anthem. God, I'm so handsome. You know, whatever you know, she, he, they. It doesn't really matter. It's a man on the card, but you know, whatever. Like, I'll be your national anthem. I'll be your hero, baby. So, nice. You know, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Virgo had this. Okay, so This person who's in the darkness, indecision. I'm scared to move. I'm scared to put a foot wrong. You know, I'm scared to set off the bear traps. Painful ending. Oh gosh, this person's energy. I'm scared to make a wrong decision here and stab someone in the back, right? I'm scared to set off a trigger. I'm scared to move and trigger something. I'm scared to to set off that bear trap. I cannot move. This is like, it's a bear trap in front of me. I cannot move. So the wounded warrior, the 9 of Wands, somebody who look how she looks like she's meditating though. She looks like she's almost meditating and kind of like, you know, asking for that guidance, asking for that higher awareness. Excuse me, a bit then. It's like I cannot move, right? I'm trapped. I cannot move. Trapped by their own mental state, their own overanalysis, their own mental energy, overthinking. I've not been sleeping very well. I've really been overthinking. It's sucked. I can't wait to get out of this energy. So yeah, the wounded warrior picking himself up, dusting himself off, still standing there. I still stand. What is that like? Kind of giving me like, you know, these kind of stories of like the last warrior standing. Kind of makes me think of, I saw this play out as well, really interestingly, in the media this week. But there's an old story of an old hero of Rome who, I want to say it was Manius, or Marius Marius. It's one of the Mariuses. There's a lot of Mariuses who are heroes in Rome, apparently. And you could go and look this up. It's in Livy's History of Rome. There's Rome's under attack. There's an army trying to invade Rome, and there's a bridge over the river Tiber, I think it is, Tiber, and there's this warrior on the bridge, and he's one man, and look at this, one man on the bridge, and it played out, if you've been watching the news, it played out, this story of Manius actually played out, and I was like, interesting that ancient story should play out. I'll leave that there. I'm very, very skeptical of media, especially when you can't get more information on something. So yeah, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna show you. Okay, I'm not going to show you because I can't find Livy's Early History of Rome. I'm gonna have to look for it. It's normally right next to me here. Yeah, this story of Manius, and he's the last warrior. He's defending this bridge, and it's like the only way that this army can get into Rome at this point is across this bridge, and he defends it and he fights, and he's fighting off all these people who are like running onto the bridge. And I think there's different versions of the story because it's not just Livy who tells this story, there's a variety. And like sometimes he, wearing all his armor, like full heavy armor, he jumps into the water to keep fighting, or he blows the bridge up, or like, you know, he knocks the bridge down, he falls into the water with his full armor on. Sometimes he drowns, sometimes he gets out, but he's this big hero. It's a big heroic, like the last man standing, like the last defense energy. So I don't know why that's coming through with that energy, but it is. And then it can be compensation, you know, somebody who's in a position to financially or materially give something to somebody who is in need. So whatever that is for you, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, look at that. 7 of Wands, last man standing, like last line of defense, taking the upper ground, standing strong. I will die on this hill. This is the position I've taken, and I'm prepared to defend this space, defend this ground. So really interesting, very interesting energy coming from your reading today, Aquarius. I'm hearing something to fight for, something worth fighting for. Okay, no, ooh, you're getting the Akashic Tarot. That's interesting. Very ancestral kind of deck. Setting your course. So what's the advice, please, for Aquarius for Friday? Aquarius. I can't remember the hero's name. There was a lot of different Mariuses and Manuses in that section of the book. You can go and read it yourself. There's like the 3 Mariuses who are the brothers who, you know, that's a whole story. So there's a lot going on there. There's a Marius who's like one of the Roman kings, because Rome had kings originally. You know, it was a family name. So it's a family name, and clearly there was a lot of ancestral stories of these heroes, right? You know, talking about building a legacy. I don't know why this Capricorn energy is coming in again. You know, the legacy, what kind of stock are you from? What family are you from? What are the hero stories of your ancestors? What stories ancestrally have been passed down to you? And it doesn't have to necessarily be your family specifically. It can talk about your whatever you're part of, right? So it could be, you know, with National Anthem, it's like the stories of your, you know, historically the ancestors of your culture, you know, the forefathers. Could talk about something like that. But obviously history is written by the victors, and you know, who's writing the stories, why are they writing the stories? Again, as somebody who studied humanities and literature and classics, you ask those questions. You say, who wrote this? Why did they write it? What narrative are they trying to spin here? What did they leave out of the story? Because what they leave out, if you compare it to other stories, is as important. It tells you just as much as the facts that they are, you know, as they are presented. So there's a lot more to. You can actively consume information, or you can passively consume information. If you passively consume information, you take things at face value. I trust this news source, therefore everything that they say is factually correct. Where every news source has some kind of political agenda. For example, I used to really like The Guardian, which is a very liberal, progressive, good newspaper, right? Or a news source, but still you can still see that they have political leanings, they have an agenda, they have a narrative that they want to push. What are they not saying? So if you consume a variety of media sources, some on the left, some on the right, some by, you know, what are the enemy saying, what are we saying, you know, all that kind of stuff, you're going to get a much bigger picture, because you're going to see where the holes are, where the holes in the stories are. And I'm not saying that anyone's good or anyone's bad, and, you know, but just from, if you completely take out any kind of loyalties, any kind of nationalism, any kind of agenda personally, and just look at something objectively and scientifically and from an educated perspective, those holes are going to be glaringly obvious. And actually the things that are not being said tell you a whole lot more than what is being said when you read between the lines. As somebody who's academic, which I want to say you are, Aquarius, you are, this is how you're showing. You're showing as the person who's consuming all the media available. And you know what? If there are no answers, if the conclusion is, and this is something else that you learn when you go to university and you study these kind of courses, like history type courses, sometimes you do not know. Sometimes that information is not available. Sometimes there are gaping black holes, and you know, you have to accept that. You have to say, we're not going to know why. We are not going to have the full picture here. You know, there are things that are left unknown. And what conclusions can we draw from that? You know, what are the blank spaces? Advice, please, for anyone associated with this reading. Thank you. Summer and winter. 2 worlds. So maybe this is talking about two hemispheres. You know, 2 hemispheres. You know, when it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it's winter in the southern hemisphere. Could be talking about that. The 2 worlds card also talks about being in 2 places. I'm kind of getting Tori Kelly 2 places. Being not quite in one place. You know, you've walked through that tunnel. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of doubt, sorry, they're giving me a lot of songs now. As you're leaving one situation behind and that light's fading, and you're looking to the future and you're walking towards that future, but you're in that in-between stage where there's a lot of fear. I could be talking about that as well. Two Worlds card, it also does talk about having a family life, having a like it says, like, because there's a monastery out of this window, so this card actually talks about having past lives, and perhaps having one life where you gave your life entirely to religion, entirely to God, entirely to kind of like that Hierophant energy of government, of structure, of belonging, but then also like having another life where you wanted to do your own thing and go your own way and make your own life, and then this life is like trying to find the balance between the two, trying to find the balance between the structure and the order and the rule book and the spiritual aspects of life and your own personal autonomy and who you want to be. Look at this community card as well. This doesn't, I don't think this has ever come out in a reading before, but it's a beautiful card. Community. Really, really lovely. You know, wanting to build a community around you, wanting to perhaps build your own belief system. What do we give? Capricorn get this all the time, this thing about legacy of Aeneas carrying his father on his back and leading a child by the hand, his son by his hand, which talks about having a legacy, having a past, collectively as human beings, you know, our history, our shared history, our past. Having that the weight on our shoulders of our history, but also being in a position, and this came through in that Sagittarius Capricorn cusp reading, of being able to change the future, being a pivot point where we change the future for our children, where we make decisions, where we use our ability to vote, where we use our voice to speak out on things that we don't agree with, and we make the situation better for the generations to come. What do we leave in the past, and what do we bring forward into the future, and are there any ways that we can innovate? So that's been coming through a lot for Capricorn, and you know, it makes a lot of sense for you as well, as those planets shift from Capricorn into Aquarius, those big heavy planets like Pluto and Saturn, and I can't remember which other planet was in there, but you know, these big game changer planets that affect us on a collective level, especially Saturn, Pluto. Right, not Hilarion. It helps if I find the right page. Okay. So summer and winter. This season cycle card reveals how to best spend your energy at this time. This beautiful sunlit sky of summer overlooks farmers working hard on their growing crops. Summer is a yang time of great activity, so this is your notice to get going. Action is an important part of this cycle, and it can take many forms. There may be something you can do to accelerate your professional life. This may also be the perfect time to take steps towards your personal goals, perhaps get more exercise, plan more social events, or start a fun activity you've been wanting to do. You might also reflect on what actions or perspective would attract a new romance or enhance your love life. This card tells you to consider what needs to be done and then go for it. The cycle is a perfect time to create a smiling, self-loving energy and project it outwards for the world to see. Also, don't be surprised if a trip is coming your way. This card implies movement of some kind, so get ready. So a really interesting thing I'm getting from this with two worlds, right? I'm doing a reading where we've got one energy and another energy. Now, this may be your energy. I'm reading for Aquarian energy on this side of the table, but just know that you can flip it and reverse it. You may pain in my back there. You may actually feel like this energy is your energy and this is somebody else that you're dealing with. You may feel like this is you being two different situations in your life. I want to say, if this is feeling like your energy, whoever this character is, I feel like they are in the summer cycle. They are in the yang cycle of this relationship, where on this side of the table, this is the person who is able to take action right now, who needs to make the most of this time to be productive. This person needs to be active. This person over here is in this very, very stuck energy of the winter cycle. It's like the hibernation period, where they're not actually able to move or take action at the moment. There is a time factor. So this person could just be chopping wood and waiting and stuck somewhere while they're waiting for you to handle something on your side, because you are in the action space and they are in the passive, frozen space. So take that as you will, whatever you get from that, you know, totally use your intuition. It's very important. I hope this reading was really helpful to you. Again, comment down below, what's your favorite perfume? Have you got anything else that you want to say in this in the comment box? Really love to see those comments and see that engagement from you all. Really care about that a lot. Also, drop me a like if you like this video, even if it didn't resonate. Maybe it was just a good story. So remember to drop me a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to do. It doesn't cost you anything, but it actually really helps out the channel. So thank you to those of you who are already subscribed. And you can also hit that notification bell, and what this means is that you'll get notified when my readings go live. So if you like the storytelling, the way I tell these stories, and you want to see more of my channel, you know, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You're going to know when my readings go up, or you're going to be more likely to know. YouTube's a bit iffy with the algorithms. And yeah, thank you to those of you who come in as stealth watchers. I'm always watching you. What's it? I'm checking you out. I'm checking you out. Sorry, that's good. It's been coming through a lot this week. This is from Eurovision, if you know the movie Eurovision. So thank you, Stealth Watchers, for checking me out. Always appreciated. Those watch hours really tot up. So you appreciated as much as everybody else. Do take really good care of yourselves. If you're in this phase, breathe through it. Your time will come. It's going to be okay. Don't cave into that devil energy of like the fear and the confusion and the panic. You know, deep breaths. You're going to be okay. One foot in front of the other. And we're all going to get through this dark period of history, which, you know, every second is time moving forward. Every second is the now, and every second that goes by is part of history. So what do you want the future to be? It's in your hands. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye, friends.